Before we start, please take into account that Arkenforge is a very robust piece of software. The way I use it is in no circumstances the only way to do it. It is far more flexible and allows various techniques to achieve the same goal. Also, in these short clips, I focus on the map-making part of Arkenforge, but it is far more advanced with its own soundscape and encyclopedia models, and many more. I encourage you to experiment with the software yourself as much as you can. Hey, Timur Sol here, and in this video I wanted to show you something connected with light system, but additionally I want to tell you how you can check easily what properties your specific asset has. Now, as you can see, this is a rather large map. Most of the objects over here, if not every object, is closed already. If I click my Alt, you'll notice how it blooms. By the way, it always blooms from the point of your cursor, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, if I hold my Alt again, you'll notice that besides the red locked objects, I have several light bulbs which are yellow in their color. Let's move towards one of those yellowish assets over here. Now, again, holding Alt, you can see where the shining assets are. These are the crystals that I have over here. Now, if I move this one specific crystal somewhere over here, let's say, I can examine it more closely. Let's go to my lighting tools. The light is on. The radius is only 1 because I wanted the crystals to glow just a little bit. The radius is not that much. Now, normally Arkenforge reverts to 4.444, I believe. If I use my time of day and go lower with it, you'll notice that 4 is quite a lot. I wanted to go for such an effect like you see over here or over here. Let's make the time of day a little bit higher, but still low enough to see. Is there any other way in which you could set or check the light or how much light it gives or what color it has? You could obviously go into here and select the color like this, but since the crystal was blue, I decided for a blue shine. Now, the other way to do it is to go into your content properties panel on the left side over here. Now, in the content properties panel, you have location, you have the name of the asset, the pack name, the creator, and the path in which it is located physically on your computer. You have an information what transforms were applied to this particular asset, and you can see that it, for example, is rotated 271 degrees. If I rotate it back straight forward, holding my control, I snap it to the grid, it reverts to 0. If I would be so inclined to rotate it like this, I would have a rotation 315.7737. Now, both X and Y scale are the same over here. If I grab the corner, the rotation will be very similar or the same. There's a slight difference that probably comes from counting the pixels on my screen, but that's it. If I were to click the log scale entry over here and try to drag just one part, it would automatically make the asset larger, or also in the second scale. This is useful if you want to have a very precise scaling over here. So if I would go to 4.15, both will be 4.15 without any doubt. Now, if you're wondering what the X position and Y position is, it's obviously simply the position on the X and Y axis of the entire map. If I were to change the X position to, let's say, 30, it was 28, changing it to 30, minus 30 goes over here. If I would be minus 20, it goes over there. Now, what does this mean actually? Let's go to 0 and Y position also 0. It's simply the center of your map where you center where you build it in the center. If you move it, it again changes the X and Y position. In one of the previous videos, you've seen me move the pivot somewhere to make an object float around the pivot. The additional thing that the pivot does is obvious. If I rotate it right now, it will rotate around the pivot over here. So like this, instead of rotating around its own center. If I wouldn't be satisfied with that, I could just always reset the pivot point. Okay, next up, let's collapse this. General. Is the object hidden? No. If it would be hidden, it wouldn't shine. That's rather obvious. If I unhide it, it unhides with a small animation, a small fade in, and starts to shine. Is it locked? Yes, it is locked. I can lock it right now, and you see that I'm able to select it like that. Does it drop shadow? No, it does not. We probably, yeah, we can see it. If I click drop shadow, it adds an additional gradient, black gradient underneath, which makes the item more 3D, let's say. Layering is rather interesting. As mentioned, this 19 over here is this 19 over here. This means that this object lays on the 90th layer on the objects layer. Why is this important? Well, if I would be so inclined to choose the pebbles over here, I now know that if I want this crystal to be above the pebbles, I can either push the pebbles all the way down, or I could be smarter than that and just put 1053 plus 1, so 1054. And I'm now certain that the crystal is just one level above the pebbles over here. Image manipulation is the hue, saturation, and brightness and opacity, the things that you also find over here. Lighting is well, it's rather straightforward. Is the light on? Yes. What's the light radius? Maybe we can set 2 or 1 or whatever else. What's the color? Does the light flicker? Oh, see, it doesn't work right now. Does it block light? Does the light shine through fog of war? And if there's any animation, you can also check it here. And that's that.